Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom filled with sunshine, green meadows, and sparkling rivers, there lived a kind king and queen. The king's name was Stefan, and the queen's name was Leah. They were loved by everyone in the kingdom, but they were also very sad because they had no children. Every day they looked at the stars and whispered, "If only we had a little prince or princess to love." One bright morning, the queen gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. The whole kingdom celebrated. Bells rang from every tower, flowers bloomed in every garden, and everyone danced with joy. The king and queen named their daughter Aurora, which means dawn, and because she brought light and happiness to their lives. To celebrate Aurora's birth, the king and queen invited all the fairies in the land to a grand christening party. The palace was decorated with golden banners, colorful flowers, and twinkling lights. The fairies arrived in their magical robes, each carrying a special gift for the newborn princess. There were 3 good fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. Flora, dressed in red, gave Aurora the gift of beauty. Fauna, in green, gave her the gift of song. Merryweather, in blue, was about to give her a special gift when suddenly, the doors burst open. An evil fairy named Maleficent appeared. She was tall and dark, with piercing eyes and a wicked smile. Maleficent was angry because she had not been invited to the celebration. She stepped forward and said, "Since I was not invited, I shall curse the princess. Before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, Aurora will prick her finger on a spinning wheel and die." The entire palace fell silent. The king and queen were heartbroken, and the guests trembled with fear. Just as Maleficent finished speaking, Merryweather stepped forward. She could not undo the curse, but she softened it. "The princess will not die," she said. "Instead, she will fall into a deep sleep for 100 years. Only a true love's kiss can awaken her." The king and queen were relieved but still worried. To keep Aurora safe, they ordered all the spinning wheels in the kingdom to be burned. The 3 good fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, decided to raise Aurora in a hidden cottage deep in the forest. They gave her a new name, Briar Rose, so that no one would know her true identity. The fairies lived like simple peasants, hiding their magic. They taught Aurora how to cook, clean, and care for animals. Aurora grew up surrounded by the beauty of nature. She loved to sing, dance, and play with the forest creatures. The birds, deer, rabbits, and squirrels became her best friends. She never knew she was a princess, and she was happy in her simple life. Years passed, and Aurora grew into a lovely young girl. On the eve of her 16th birthday, the fairies decided it was time to tell her the truth. They took her back to the palace, where she met her real parents. The king and queen were overjoyed to see their daughter again. Aurora was amazed by the grandeur of the palace and the love of her family. But as the evening wore on, Aurora felt drawn to explore the castle. She wandered through the halls, admiring the paintings and tapestries. She climbed the winding stairs and found a hidden room at the top of a tower. Inside, she saw an old spinning wheel. The fairies had warned her about spinning wheels, but Aurora was curious. She reached out and touched the spindle. At once, she pricked her finger and fell into a deep, enchanted sleep. The king and queen, filled with sadness, placed Aurora on a bed of flowers and cried for their beloved daughter. The good fairies knew that Aurora could only be awakened by true love's kiss, so they set out to find the prince who could break the curse. Meanwhile, in a neighboring kingdom, there lived a brave and kind young prince named Philip. He had once met Aurora in the forest, when she was still Briar Rose. They had fallen in love at first sight, but they were separated by fate. When Philip heard about the sleeping princess, he knew he had to save her. With the help of the fairies, Prince Phillip set out on a dangerous journey. He battled through thick forests, crossed rushing rivers, and climbed steep mountains. Finally, he reached the castle, which was covered in thorns and vines. The fairies enchanted his sword, and he fought his way through the thorns. Inside the castle, Philip found Aurora lying on a bed, looking as beautiful as ever. He knelt beside her and kissed her gently. At once, Aurora woke up, her eyes sparkling with love. The spell was broken, and the entire kingdom woke up too. The thorns and vines melted away, and the palace was filled with joy. Aurora and Prince Philip were married in a grand and joyful ceremony. The kingdom celebrated for days, and everyone was happy. The prince had proven that true love could conquer any curse, and the 2 of them ruled the kingdom with kindness and grace. From that day on, Aurora and Philip lived happily ever after, and their story became a legend, told to children for generations.